Hey y'all, Sydney Gillen here, 7-time figure Olympia champion, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about a couple of different things, but one main thing in particular. This video is gonna be for the private people who are trying to navigate being on social media in general, and then trying to grow themselves and their brands and their businesses on social media. So this video will be for you and kind of how you can navigate it, and I'll walk you through how I've navigated, what changes I've made, why I'm making the changes, and all those things like that. So for those of you who paid attention to Instagram, about last week I announced that I was going to be a little bit more forward facing throughout the entirety of my journey to the Olympia, the 60th Olympia. So what that meant was, instead of wearing like sweatpants like I have on now, my t-shirt and my hoodies like I love so much because I like to dress for comfort, and it's comfortable for me and it feels like one big hug, so I love that. But instead of doing that, I was going to do a little bit more, well, in a sense, less clothes. I wouldn't say more skin, I would say less clothes. So what that looks like for me is just not wearing a hoodie every single workout y'all see. So I wanted to do this in order to, well, let's backtrack. We're going to start with kind of just how this all came about, my history and everything like that. So before I got my first Olympia title, I barely was on social media. I might have posted one time a month. Like it was like I just graduated from college in 2014, and I did my first qualification for the Olympia then. Fast forward, 2017 was my first like Olympia win, but those years leading up to it, I posted when I wanted to post. It was like, all right, here's a cute outfit, here's my friends, my family, like that's it. That's kind of what I posted, and it kind of was just like, meh. I never went in, because social media was also different back then. I never went in wanting to be an influencer, wanting to be seen, wanting extra attention. I never wanted any of that. So that's why I posted like I posted, and that's why I still kind of navigate the same way now. So, all right, that's then. Once I hit my first Olympia title, I was like, okay. My coach was like, you need to get out there some more. So I was like, okay. He was like, you stressed? I was like, I am. Because I didn't do social media. So for me, whenever I have to take on a new journey, I'm going to make a whole list. I'm going to write down a whole list. I was like, okay, well then that means I have to have something to talk about, because I don't want to hear myself talk. And the way I looked at it as, they don't want to hear me talk either, but I'm just going to try it out. But then what I learned, the more I talked, the more information I gave, the more it helped other people, especially at the time since I was in college. I was getting my master's degree at USC. Since I was in college, it helped people who had busy lives and who had other things going on just besides the sport navigate through that. So I found it much more helpful, and that began to give me motivation to continue posting as much as I post now. Now fast forward. We're in a different time where it's just a different time, y'all. It's just different. So as you can tell, I'm not gonna edit this. We just gonna talk, and y'all gonna hear my thoughts in real time. And so it may be a little bit of jumble. If you get confused, rewind it. I'll probably rehash and try to like piece everything together. That was like basically a general synopsis of the video. But let's backtrack to, again, going into this, like I said, I never wanted to be an influencer. As I grew with my titles, it pushed me to be kind of more forward facing. With that being said, when I recognized that my social media was growing, I had a specific way I wanted to grow. I wanted to be organic, and I wanted to not be centered around my body. Though I am a bodybuilder, that is not the only person that I am. That's not the only person I will be when I retire from this sport. So I never wanted to be body, booty. I don't have any boobs, so it can't be that anyway. So I didn't want it to be like all just body. I wanted you, if you're following me, which y'all probably been here for a while now, to follow me for me. Not for what I look like, to follow me for what advice I can give you on how I got to what I look like, and not just be so one-dimensional. So that's why I posted how I posted in the past, and that's what's been allowing me to grow organically, because I knew everybody who came to follow me was there for information and not there to stare at me all day, because you weren't going to see anything. You were going to see a sweatpants and some hoodies mismatched all up and down. So it wasn't anything that was going to be like, this is what you're going to get from her and this is all it's going to be. So that's the kind of thing that I really wanted. I wanted it to be organic, and I wanted the community to be an actual community there of substance. So what I found is that allowed me to have a following that is your doctors, your lawyers, your politicians. It's those type of people that I attracted. And of course, everybody under the sun too. Of course, your personal trainers and everything like that. Just a wide variety of people who wanted to learn. But the quality was there versus people who just wanted to say, ooh, her butt looks cute. Ooh, her butt looks cute. Now that's cool and all, but that's just not the brand that I wanted at that time, and really not any way for the future. So, all right, moving forward there. That's why I kind of did it how I did it. And so that way it was more substantive audience versus just kind of fluff. So that was my goal in terms of why I wanted to just do me. And that was fully clothed. Now, I will say, I noticed a shift because I used to do tank tops in the gym. I used to do, I never really did shorts because maybe I got a team, no thigh gap. So when those legs get the chafing, it's not fun. So I don't know how other people do it. I can't nor will do it unless it's a photo shoot. You won't see me in shorts, you'll get me in pants. I may give you a crop top, a sports bra. That's all fine and dandy. But anything beyond that, I can't do it. I won't do it. So I found that the more forward facing I became, the more I wanted to kind of like pull back. So that's with every title. It took away the fun of being able to pop up and nobody knew what show you were going to do. So back in the day when we were first starting, I could like jump into a show. Nobody knew I was doing it, and that was the fun part for me. So that's in a sense how silence came about, because when you're forced to go one route, you have to find the way that's going to make you happy going that route. So if I have to be more forward facing, I'm going to do it to where there is still that secrecy that I love, that little bit of like, oh, what's going to happen that I love. And that kept me going and able to multitask and still be forward facing and post more than I did with my once a month. So it's not really like drastic posting more, but it allowed me to kind of take that power back and my comfort back and really just have that one thing that was for me. Because at the end of the day, I never did this sport to become an influencer. I never did this sport to become even semi-remotely famous at all. I didn't care. I did the sport because I loved it. And so I didn't need people to give me pats on the back or see my process, because it was for me. This sport was for me. But now, at the part where I am in my career, it's more so, it's not about me anymore. It's about how can I continue to make this sport grow? How can I educate the ladies who are around me and being the change that I want to see on social media? Because another large part of it, when I looked at social media as a psych major and as a person with eyes, all I saw was a lot of desperate people and a lot of insecure people who wanted to be seen. And thus, I never wanted to be associated with people like that. Thus, I did the branding that was so far opposite of them, aka not posting, aka extremely clothed. So that way it was a drastic difference. But then as I grew and as I watched, there were plenty of people, and plenty of people I follow now, who aren't in sweats and they wear the tight clothes, they wear the crop tops, but they do it in a classy way to where it's not like, they just look cute. They want to be cutesy, and that's cute. I like that. That's cool. But that just was not me at the time. Well, current day. I used to do the cute stuff back in the day, like I said. And then as the titles came up, I kind of changed that. But in terms of like the matching sets in the gym, I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can do a matching set. I can do that. So I found that, like, okay, when I was thinking about this, I said, let's just kind of run through the pros and cons. And after a certain point, when your growth has stagnated, and I don't even say it's stagnated, but in terms of if you're trying to help the sport grow, help the energy grow, help the companies that support you grow, you have to be attaching to a new audience. You have to be bringing in a new audience to continue for that to happen. And so that's when I was like, okay, let me sit here and be like, all right, this is what I can do within my boundaries, where I'm still comfortable, I'm still pushing myself to be out of my comfort zone, but finding that fine line where my values aren't compromised and the style of person I want to be and want to give to the world is still intact. So that's why I'm going about it the way that I have. And that's kind of just the premise of how we kind of got here. So another thing too is when people see people who are clothed, I think the perception is that they are hiding. And so for me, I was never hiding my physique in terms of being ashamed of it. I was hiding it to, one, because I don't like being stared at. I cannot stand being stared at because people have no home training, and it's okay to look and look away, but when you're staring at people, that's rude. I was always raised that was rude. I still feel that it is rude, and there's only a certain amount of stare I'm gonna take before I'm like this. So in order to avoid those issues, I just don't do it. That's gonna be one. Two is sometimes it can be unhelpful because when you do see your idols and people who you look up to, and you're constantly comparing yourself, it can provide issues. And so I was also trying to alleviate the possibility of that happening because you didn't get to stare at my physique all the time. Like, of course you would see it in the stage photos, but it wasn't an everyday reminder of the differences. So I always want to kind of be wary of that. It's the same way I don't discuss my weight because it's not going to help the next person do anything. But I'll get to the counterpart of that next. But it's also too, in the same breath of the sweatshirts. Since I'm not ashamed of it, and I know that a lot of women and a lot of men in general, a lot of competitors in general, and people in general have an issue when it comes to gaining weight, losing weight, getting small, getting bigger, all these different things. And it's like, okay, if you know when you look out there, the majority of people have these issues, why not be the change? Why not show them that you can just not care? It's not that serious. So I was like, okay, let me be that person. Come out the sweatshirts, show them when you gain the weight, show them when you losing the weight, show all the pieces of it so that way people are more comfortable with what the process actually looks like in reality. So if you see me with my belt and you see a little fold hanging over the belt, that's because it happens. If you see a little pooch at the bottom when the belt is on, that's because it happens. If you're bloated one day, and you see too, I don't do like the filters. I don't do, if the picture is the picture, what I post is what I post. No editing, no, I don't even crop a photo. If it ain't taken right, it's just gonna be posted as is or not posted at all. And 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be posted as is because I don't care. And so if I'm trying to create a better space where people don't care as much about the perception of how they look or what others think of them, I'm gonna try to do that. And that's probably my why for this whole thing, beyond helping my companies grow. It's educating other people, growing the sport, and helping people in general just love themselves as is in every single stage of this process. We're never going to be the same way the entirety of our life. Things are going to change. Shit happens. Excuse my language. It happens. And so you got to rock with those punches and love yourself as is at every stage. And so in order for me to preach about it, I have to be the face of doing it. So that's a large part of why we're going to go into this style of posting that I've gone into so far. Okay, so how does this work? If you're trying to still maintain your privacy, maintain what makes you happy, and grow at the same time, they can coexist. But how it happens is, and I'm going to walk you through, like when I start doing my show vlogs, when prep starts, when I get to Arizona, that's in like, I don't know, sometime in July, down the road, I'll start doing the vlogs. And it'll be just like this. It'll just be me talking. Y'all write your question below. I'll make another video. It'll just kind of be real chill. It's not going to be overly edited, none of that stuff, because one, I don't have the skill set. I don't want the skill set. And at the end of the day, I want this to just be a real little talk between me and y'all. So you won't really see pretty much any edited content like that from me, unless it's like a workout video that my friend edits, because I'm not doing it. Shout out to the creators out there, because I can't do it. What I was saying was, okay, boundaries. So for me, the way I'm gonna do it is, on the days that I'm filming, that's when I'll have either the crop top, tighter pants. Like I said, I don't do shorts, they're not comfortable. I'll have my pants on so that you're able to see the muscles during the movement, what's happening, because I feel like that's also educational. And that's one thing a lot of ladies, they ask me, is they want to see kind of the muscles work in the beauty of the body and how it works in the action. So I'm going to show more of that style of content in terms of just having the clothes fit a little bit more so that you're able to see what's actually working and see how it can work on your frame and whether you want to try those exercises or not. So that'll be consistent. But that's, again, kind of how the boundaries come in. On those filming days, I'm going to have a certain aesthetic. Okay, now I will mix in some sweatpants on this filming day, but it'd be like sweatpants and a crop top. It would never be sweatpants and a hoodie again, unless like I am just dirt cold, but I have long sleeve little cutesy tops that I got for y'all, so we'll work it out. But it's gonna be boundaries. So for me, it's like, okay, how much filming are you comfortable with? How much filming are you comfortable with that is not going to take away from you as an athlete? And so I think a large part of this is I was always an athlete first. So I never cared about anything else but attempting to win. So everything else, since we're in a new time, is everything is getting a little more blended, because you'll have people who have never stepped on stage with a larger following and educating the masses without the knowledge and the actual experience behind it. So as somebody who has the experience and the knowledge of stage life and the training, I feel like it's more beneficial for me to try and go into those spaces as well to help a little bit further and make sure that the information that is being provided to the world is more accurate as much as possible. So that's another reason of that too. So what it is again, boundaries. I'm comfortable with filming twice a week. I might film froggy one week and I might film 3 times a week. But that's my minimum. My minimum is 2 times a week that I will film content. On those days where I'm not filming, you best believe I'm gonna be in an extra large t-shirt and some sweats. It's gonna happen. That's just what it is. That's what I love. But it'll be kind of like a mix of finding where you're happiest, doing a mix of both, and turning it into something that is not necessarily a chore by any means, but it's what's going to help everything grow and what's going to push you forward. So you're still only giving that specific amount of time to this, and then you have your time to yourself. So it's the same way as I run my businesses. If I'm working January through May nonstop, I shut everything down when it's time for me to get ready to the O, because that is my time. Everything else is everybody else's time, and me giving to everybody else. But at a certain point, it gets cut off and it goes to my time. So that's why I'm going through this process. Is I'll be filming the week of, no throwbacks, the week of, every single week. But when it gets to those last 6 weeks, that's my time. That's when the silence part does kick back in. I'll still be producing content, but it will be throwbacks. It will be throwbacks, because that's how I've gotten to 7 titles. That's how I've gotten to 9 international titles in general. It's that part that has helped me get there, and I can't change that just in case it hurts me, if that makes sense. So at the end of the day, I'm still an athlete. I'm learning to kind of multitask the athlete, the branding, and the business person, and put those together. But at the end of the day, I'm still an athlete. So there's still that last bit of time, that's going to be my time where I'm able to focus on myself and not anything else. It's just me, the weights, the gym, my coach, and Olympia. So that's how I'm kind of breaking it down. So for you, what that looks like is, again, choosing how many days you want to film, choosing what you want to film in and what you overarchingly want your look on your social media to be. Choose what you're comfortable with, and then you're able to set your boundaries accordingly. So for me, as you've seen too, I don't even tag my husband. That's how private I am. If you don't know who that man is, we've been together almost 9 years, you will not know who he is. You will not know his name. You won't know nothing about him. That's how private I am. Because we're also too, it's also too, if you think, y'all on social media, a lot of people are just hurt and very, very negative. And so that's another reason to add to the long list of reasons why I didn't like the internet and social media to begin with. Like, yes, it can be extremely helpful, but the negative side of it is negative. And as y'all know, I don't do negativity. I'm like, get up out of here, away from me. So that's that. But I found that the way that I've sculpted the people who are surrounding me on my portion of the internet, everybody is overarchingly positive. You may get like a 0.01% of little trash here and there, but overarchingly, I've been blessed to only have quality people, nice people who are going to be following me and interacting with me. So that's been a blessing, and that's been very much what I've attracted. So for me, all this has basically just been about a mindset shift in terms of how I do me as a person and run my businesses. So it's been a mindset shift of not just being an athlete and business owner, but being more so an athlete, more forward facing and going, now I wouldn't say necessarily into the influencer realm, because I'm never going to consider myself an influencer. Do I have influence? Yes. But will I be an influencer? Not necessarily, because the negative connotation that comes with it, I don't want it. So I'm just not going to claim it. So it's a matter of, again, shifting the athlete mindset, blending the athlete mindset into the current day business aspect, which is social media, and getting with the times or getting lost. And so for me, I'm not trying to get lost. I'm trying to get with the times. But in my way is, again, anytime I do these new pathways and new steps in the right direction, I have to decide my why. So if you're going to partake in this journey, you have to assess why you're going to do it. And for me, it's about educating more people. It's about pushing the envelope on how to love yourself at all stages, whether you're a competitor, whether you're not. It's about teaching people different styles of form. If you've seen the videos I've done before, it's kind of for my beginners of showing you how to do certain movements in order to train. It's about answering questions that people who follow you have. It's basically, for me, all of this is going to be about education and trying to pull more athletes into the sport, more people into healthy lifestyles, so that we have a healthier world overall. So if I can help even one person, that's gonna be my goal. Ooh, time's up. So I hope this video was about clear enough on kind of the journey, and I hope you took away a couple of tips on how to be a private person in the social media world. It's gonna, again, come down to setting your boundaries, deciding how much you want to post, deciding when and how you want to post, deciding what you're posting. And then if you are a person like me who wants to get away from the more attention-seeking style of training, just be careful of the angles you film at, and that'll keep you from going into the realm where it's more so this person is only doing this for that reason versus it being this is for an educational purpose. And a lot of that comes from within. You can kind of tell, and you got to know yourself. If you want attention, by all means, throw it out there, baby. Do your thing. But for those of you who are more like me and don't really want to do that, and you're doing it more on an educational standpoint, always be cognizant of your angles and how you set the camera up and things like that. That's what I'm always conscious of and always thinking of, to make sure that my look and my aesthetic doesn't start blending over into another aesthetic that I don't necessarily want. So that's kind of the thing on that. And then you also got to decide too, when you're giving the information, how much you're sharing. So for me, I'm an open book. I don't really care. I be talking about stuff all the time. But it's also, again, like I said, I'm open, but my family stuff is my family stuff. So when I have kids, y'all won't really see my kids on social media. You might not even know their name when I have them. That's because it just isn't, I don't feel it's for social media, for where I'm at in life and where I'll be going in life. So you gotta just find your boundaries, find where you're comfortable with, find your why, and then go off of that. But at the end of the day, do not compromise your values for anyone. If you are uncomfortable to an extent, then kind of make a change. Like, you don't want to be uncomfortable to where, like, all right, I really don't feel good about this. But you also still want to know that if you're sitting too far in your comfort zone, you're not going to grow. So that's why I'm at that fine line where if I can do this a way where I'm comfortable, I'll do it. And that's what I found so far. So far it's been good. It's been educational, and I'm hoping to continue educating the masses. And I hope y'all follow along. I know this video was long, but we'll start doing the vlogs in about, I think I leave to Arizona in less than 2 months. Once those come up, we'll start going through like kind of how I'm feeling on that week and what's been going on in prep, and walk you through what prep looks like for me going into my 11th Olympia. If you have any questions, guys, post them below, and I'll get any content y'all want filmed, and any questions you want answered. All right, I'm out.